Hey guys, Dark Humility here with another closed beta Season 8 build. This one is a faux charger or faux jouster or whatever. It is going to proc foe as much as possible by striking and by jumping into as many monsters as possible with the new rune word Innocence, and by using the Asylum sword and taking advantage of Holy Sword to get a pretty decent amount of defensive power with it as well. So you're not just jumping into monsters and dying. This build is quite strong. Overall, pretty solid stuff. Got a lot of potential. And overall, this vid is strong. Honestly, I don't know if we have enough AR, but I think it's good enough. So we'll show it off here. We're going to show off the skills, the gear, and the stats, and then we're going to show it off in some areas. I think this build's pretty cool. Just like a lot of the Innocence really enables a lot of proc builds with the on-striking effect with Blade Shield. There's all kinds of fun things you can do. I mean, you can even do it with a Druid as well. As long as you have the synergies for the skill that you're trying to proc on striking, like in this case Fist of the Heavens, on that class. So as long as you're the class that that skill pertains to, you can max out all of its synergies, like so. Put all the hard points into Holy Light, Holy Bolt, and Holy Nova. And then those are all, of course, the synergies for Fist of the Heavens. And then this Fist of the Heavens is a fully powered level 40 Fist of the Heavens. And then you can proc it as much as possible. And honestly, I think this build might even be moderately more effective than just using Fist of the Heavens, which is very odd, but true, because you can proc it a lot more often than you can cast it. So we'll get into it here. What are we going to do? This build's kind of, I don't know, there's a lot of different choices. You could probably go like an Act 3 Merc. I kind of want a Merc that's capable of surviving. You could go Conviction on yourself too to help out the initial strikes of foe if you want. You can go Conviction on the Merc. I don't like going Conviction on myself because investing into it requires sacrificing skill points into Holy Sword, Joust, and of course maxing out the foe synergies. So I go like 1 point Fanaticism just to kind of help out my AR a bit. And allow me to kind of move around like I want to. And then I put the Infinity on the Mercenary so I can maybe help out the foe strikes a little bit. And then we go Lava Gouts, Enchant. Let's make him, you know, pretty powerful, tanky Mercenary. Basic stuff. Also, of course, giving us some AR with Blessed Aim as well, which isn't a bad thing. The key to this build would be Asylum and Innocence. So Innocence, Blade Shield will proc Fist of the Heavens. So you want to really surround yourself with as many monsters as possible, as often as possible, running into them with both Joust and Charge. You just constantly want to reposition. You don't want to use something like Zeal and get stuck in one spot for too long. You don't want to use something like, I don't know, a casting ability that won't, you know, allow you to jump into the monsters. You literally just want to move around, and you just want to use your mobility skills as much as possible to get into the monsters. You're going to want, of course, defensive strength as well. You can definitely add some physical damage. Your physical charge is definitely not insignificant, neither is your joust damage. You'll see that you do some decent amounts of damage here. So it's not a bad thing to put some physical power on your build as well, but it's not super important. It's mostly important you have defense, you have a lot of DR, you can even go, you know, like PDR, you can even use something like BK Set Ring if you wanted to. I think that'd be a pretty good choice. I just decided to get more Leech, because why not? And just help out some of those other plus skills as well. It's not too thin, but you could definitely use like BK Set Ring though, get more DR. I was too lazy to try to spawn that ring. That ring's annoying to spawn, but you could definitely do it. Just keep in mind on the beta, I cannot corrupt things, so this can always get a lot stronger. And also I'm lazy, so I just spawned full Jube, so sustain usually looks terrible because I'm not running a potion while I'm taking damage. But yeah, also not good. Obviously, though, you want things like CTA. You're gonna want the typical like AR boosters, Wisp projector. May as well get some negative physical resistance. Throw that in there for good measure. Since you're not using your own foe, something like T-Gods isn't really going to help. So just keep that in mind. Like plus skills aren't really going to help except for, obviously, like boosting the power of Holy Sword and other things. You do benefit from soft points now on that, so that's really nice. Just make it a really nice skill. Since most of foe's damage is magic damage, but it's not foe on us, you really want to make sure we have magic damage LCs so that we boost the power of the proc foe as much as possible. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly, for the gear. For stats, my res is pretty terrible in this, actually. You could definitely make it better. I'm just min-maxing my damage a bit. Probably gonna Geronimo and die a few times, but you can definitely get better res on this build. There's a lot of spaces where you could do this. You could put res up here in your defensive helm or wherever, honestly, and it's probably fine. But yeah, you can do it one way or the other. I'm just gonna be greedy for damage because why not? Put the other thing, so get a decent amount of AR. I'd say at least 7,000 is kind of nice. But remember, you do have convictions, so you don't need a ton of AR. It should be fine most of the time. Just put as much into vitality as possible. And then, of course, we're going to max out Joust so we have that cooldown as low as possible. We really want to get into the middle of the monsters as much as possible. You're going to want to also max out all the synergies for foe. So don't max out foe, just the synergies, because you have foe on the weapon. That's what you're proccing. And you max out Holy Sword. I put 1 point into Fanaticism just to get an extra aura, which is pretty useful. Something that's just going to add to your damage a little bit and also give you some AR. You could even use something like maybe Blessed Aim on here, for instance, if you really were struggling in some regards, but we already have that on the Merc, so that's fine. You could use whatever you want. You could even use Defiance if you want more defensive power. You could even use, I guess if you want to spend extra defensive points, you could even put a point into Salvation and get more resistances, which is definitely something we're having problems with here, so you can see that. You can even use Zenith if you want on the Merc if you don't want the extra lightning damage or the easier hits, but I think the easier hits are nice and you do struggle with some things on this build. Yeah, Wisp is big if you have AR issues, that's why we're using Wisp. So that's pretty much it. Let's do some demos here. And here you go. As you can see with Charge, we do a pretty good job of getting around the monsters. Taking enormous amounts of damage due to our lack of res. That's always part of the fun, right? Having leeches and per kill stats would be really nice for sure as well. Look at all those foes. They're all level 40, max synergize. All the magic LCs as well to boost that damage. Living on the edge, literally. Don't have to be that thorough. Oh dear. That was a lightning enchant. That's okay. I think you guys get the idea. Holy moly. No res build. No res. Res is not important. When we die in this map to the Afflicteds, it's okay. It was destined to happen. Oh, we didn't get the Merc. Oops. Living on the edge tomorrow or today.
Afternoon.
Can you run Holy Sword with two-handed Zeal or Sacrifice? I didn't see... Those approaches weren't very good, Thanatos, honestly. I tried those approaches, and they're pretty booty. Then again, one thing I haven't tried is like Grandfather two-handed sword Zeal. We definitely should try that. They buff Grandfather too, so it's a good opportunity. Really nice in maps that, of course, are weak to magic damage, like Pandemonium Citadel. I typically demo builds in their best map. Wow, I just found a Crown of Ages. EG. Monsters don't really survive long enough to kill me, so even without res, it's surprisingly tanky. Gotta use that joust pretty often. Get around. Well, that's pretty decent sustain, honestly. It's not bad. You also freeze target with Asylum, which is nice. So, you know, besides the block provided by the new skill Holy Sword, for two-handed swords only, got a pretty nice perspective here. Sounds like a very nice budget build, Thanatos. That sounds like. No! I'm gonna die. I like dying though. Ran out of potions. Ah! That was fun though. Alright, and there you have it. That is the build. Crush it. I'm gonna try a couple more Paladin builds as well, and hopefully you guys crush it in Season 8. There it is, the Charge, Joust, Monster-hugging Proc Paladin. I don't even know exactly how to describe it, but yeah. Smash it, smash it, smash it! Great success. Great success. Absolutely. OP. Crush it, guys.